Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World. Our guest today is Tamim Hamid, PhD, Theradome's inventor and author of Grow It Back. Finally, the most comprehensive book for anyone who wants to know how to stop hair loss, thicken, and regrow their own hair. Grow It Back is authored by a former NASA scientist, but written for readers without a scientific background. It's an easy-to-read, practical guide that debunks many myths about hair loss. I want to welcome Tamim to my program. Welcome. How are you?
Kathryn, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Right. I'll never forget the first time I saw your commercial. I didn't know it was you. And the funny thing is, I went, I need to order that right now.
Well, you know, making people aware that lasers can do more than just, when you're checking out at a grocery store, that when you do a barcode or get something from surgery. This is a new application for lasers, never been done before. So it's a very new modality.
So tell me, why and how did you invent it?
Great question. So my expertise was in lasers back at NASA, Kennedy Space Center. I was there for about 10 years, inventing things for the space shuttle. And I got more and more into lasers. And I had come across a paper that was written in 1965 by Dr. Andre Mester. He was a Hungarian physician that just received the first laser in 1965, and he wanted to test it on laboratory mice. So what he did was he took this brand new laser, and he wanted to see if lasers would cause cancer, because back at the time they didn't know what lasers did. So he had it all set up. He shaved about 50 or so mice, the backs of the mice. And after several weeks, he saw that all the mice that had lasers applied to it all grew their hair back. So he was like puzzled by this. He was like, what happened? I think my experiment failed. So he went to his this technician that was taking care of the laser, because at that time the lasers were huge, about the size of a room. And he asked him why this happened. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Instead of putting it on full high mode, fully turned on, I put it on the lowest setting, which was about 5 watts instead of 1,000 watts." So that's when he said, "Oh my God, so this is very interesting. I'll write a paper about it." So this paper sat there dormant for about 40 years or whatever, and then until I found it.
And you found it. And what did you think?
I thought, what is this? So at the time I was I just had created a new laser, and this laser was a laser that was really low power, which matches the paper that we were talking about, and and we grew it right here in Silicon Valley. And so that's when I said, "Oh, this might be a good application." And at the time, I was starting to lose my hair.
Oh, you were?
I was thinning, yeah. So at the time, I went to a barbershop, and one of the barbershops said, "Oh, I think you're kind of thinning in the back." I'm like, "What?" because you can't really tell the back very well, but it's completely full in now. But I go, this is a great application. Let me start on that. So it was a confluence of basically three different things. The paper, the fact that I developed a new laser, and I was losing my hair.
I have a question for you personally. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, Kathryn.
Was your hair originally straight?
Oh no, it was never straight. It was always
It's always
curly.
natural curly.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that is your real hair.
Yep, it's my real hair.
Okay,
But
awesome.
I'm getting white right here though.
I noticed that. It
Yeah.
doesn't do anything about the white stuff, does it?
Mm,
It
it does.
does?
Yeah, so a lot of our patients or a lot of our customers are always calling us and say, "Look, my hair started turning back to brown or black or whatever. It used to be white, and it's actually not because we're converting white to black. We actually keep your white hairs all the same, but we grow new hair, which whatever was, right? So if you had dark hair, we'll bring in dark hair or blonde hair or red hair, whatever the color is, it'll come back and it will overpower the gray hair.
That's awesome. My
Yeah,
husband needs this more than you can imagine. We'll share it together.
yeah,
And so, so I said, wouldn't it be nice if you had a little bit of dark in your hair again instead of looking like silver, white?
hmm,
And people, when we come to the grocery store, or they think he's I'm not going to say what I think.
yeah. Well, I mean that's why guys don't really they want low maintenance everything. That's why a lot of guys just shave it off or really don't care, and that's the difference. Even though 60% of our customers are women, it's not that women have more hair loss. It's just that women will take care of their hair loss.
Yeah, and a lot of us color our hair.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't even imagine. I can't wait to see what happens when I use it and what color comes out. That's going to be
Yeah.
really cool, you know.
Well, one of the applications we're getting back, we've never done a clinical trial on this, but a lot of beauty salons use our device
Mhm,
for extending the time the hair coloring is on the scalp or on your head. So, for example, a typical hair coloring takes it lasts about 4 weeks, 5 weeks or so.
mhm.
With the Theranos, with using laser phototherapy, you can double that time.
Oh
And
wow.
the reason why is very simple is that when you open up the cuticle, you have to open it up with chemicals, right? You open it up
Mhm,
and then you pour in the dye and then you use another chemical to close the cuticle. And that process is very messy because it's a chemical process.
mhm.
So what the lasers does is that it actually closes the cuticle from a mechanical point of view. So all the cuticles are closed tightly, and
Mhm.
that's why it can stay on much longer.
It's good and bad because some of these people want to do these things all the time. But I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, um, actually, I think that's it's good for your hair.
Yeah, and then the other thing, well, yeah, I mean when you use the laser phototherapy, have you ever noticed when you do a hair coloring, it kind of feels frizzy or rougher than normal? It's not very smooth, depending on what kind of
Use
product you use.
conditioner all the
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah. So what this does is that it makes your hair much much
Shinier,
smoother,
smooth.
shinier,
I can look
and
really good again, better than this.
you're gonna be impressed. You're gonna be impressed.
I
But
listen, all my family have been either medical or inventors or race car, just weird stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
And but I'm probably the weirdest of them all because
Wow.
I love gadgets. I love anything that makes you look better, feel better, or work better.
There you go.
Yeah, so it makes it, I'm like the people call me the marketing queen of marketing.
Mm, very nice.
No, seriously, because if I like something, I can't stop talking about it.
Well, it's we have a lot of celebrities that use our product, especially in Hollywood and other areas.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can't talk about all the people,
No,
but
but that's all right. I'm not a, here's the difference between me and them.
Mhm.
They don't want you to know.
Right.
I want you to know because you can look good just like me if you do it.
Exactly. Well, they definitely honored me last year with the Hollywood Beauty Awards, which
Awesome.
a lot of these. What happens is that a lot of these hairdressers that are for the stars used our device.
Mhm.
They recommend it to all of celebrities, and so we have a good following of celebrities and sports stars and so
Mhm.
on and so forth that care about their hair.
Yeah, and I mean, most of them want to stay young.
Absolutely.
They think being old, and here's the difference. Age is in the mind.
Yep.
Absolutely. So
Well,
we,
it's the all. I mean, having hair or getting your hair back or keeping your hair is the ultimate anti-aging hack,
that's
right?
right. That's right. And you're going to be the king of it.
Well, I just want people to know that they could keep their hair and they could regrow back. I'm just a humble scientist that's trying to bring a lot of misinformation to to the people.
Mhm. And on that note, my dear, we need to take a short break.
Okay.
Okay. And I have sponsors, so it's important
Oh
that we
yeah,
get their messages out, right?
absolutely.
Okay. So would you give the name of your book?
Yep. The name of my book is called Grow It Back, and the book can be accessed through the internet to growback.com, and it
Mhm.
can be bought at Amazon or Kobo, Apple, or Barnes and Noble.
Okay. So, and if they want, and on Grow It Back is your uh, Theradome, correct? You can
So
see,
we don't talk, yeah, we don't talk too much about our company per se. We just describe it here and there in the book. But really, we want people to really know about laser phototherapy. And then, of course, I have my own company, which is called Theradome, and it's a helmet device that you wear.
okay. So we'll be right back after these messages on Kathryn Raaker's World. Don't forget to go to our website at kathrynraakersworld.com where you can see everything we do. We'll be right back. We are back with our distinguished guest, Tamim Hamid, who is a PhD and inventor of the Theradome, which is a wonderful product that makes your hair not fall out and you grow it back.
There you go.
And he's got the wonderful book that just came out, Grow It Back. And what I love, and I haven't got the book yet because Scott hasn't sent it to me.
Oh, no.
So that would be nice. Um, Wonderful thing about this is that I saw this on television and I went, I need this.
Hmm.
My husband freaks out every time I say that. But there's so many women that are naturally losing their hair as they age, or they've had everything from cancer to lots of different illnesses. They've had radiation that, so some people lose their hair from radiation or chemotherapy or whatever. And so do children. So I started, my eyes are better now because I got whatever, and I can see everything, including the hair on the floor.
Wow.
I
Okay.
go, what's this? So you had the same experience. You were losing your hair. How
That's
did
right.
you feel about it?
Well, I was shocked, and of course, I didn't like it because it was early. It was early in my marriage, and so I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to reduce my manlyhood," and so definitely, I didn't like it, and it was devastating. So, but I was okay with just shaving it off,
Mhm.
Because I was like, okay, I swim a lot. I just swim. I'll just shave it off, and it's okay. It'll be part of my excuse for why I shave it off. But since I was a laser expert, I figured, hey, why not? Let's give this a try. It could be a great first application.
Were you the first person to try it?
Yes.
Were you shocked?
I actually tried it in my garage and I did it for like 9 months. Every day I would go into my garage and because the system the first prototype was a monster. It was like all wired up like a sign like you see in movies. And but after 9 months, I was shocked. I was totally shocked. I'll show you the before and afters.
Wow. And I think that's the most important thing. You see all these gimmicks on television, seriously.
Mhm.
How do you get rid of your wrinkles or fill your wrinkles in or try this or try that? But you really want testimony. And I believe that pictures make a big difference in looking at a product that does what yours does. And, I mean, having a full head of hair, I used to have really thick hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Straight as an arrow, no
Mm.
curl. This is not what happens when I wash my hair and
Yeah.
try it. It's straight. So that's
Well,
just why I ask you. Maybe it'll go curly like my brother's.
oh yeah. No, it's if you have curly hair, it'll hold its what's called curl retention. Lasers will go back because especially curly hair, it has a specific DNA that's triggered to be curly. So if you have curly hair, it'll go back to curly.
Okay, well, that was the one thing. But what shocked me was the gal that is our physician's assistant who got
Mm,
cancer
I see.
and her hair fell out, but it came back curly.
Yes. And what happens is that something happens with chemo-induced alopecia that it changes the texture and the type of hair after getting chemo, basically.
Uh-huh.
And chemo attacks the hair only because the hair is so active and it gets confused with cancer. So chemo drugs doesn't know if the hair is the cancer or it's the cancer itself.
Okay.
So because cancer is very prolific, the cells keep on duplicating, and so does hair. Because if you one fact is if you put all the energy in your hair into one hair, let's say put all the energy of your scalp, every night that one hair will grow 131 feet.
Wow.
So that's how much your hair grows. But we have 100,000 hairs on our head on
Really?
average. Yeah,
Wow, that's a lot when you think
that's a
about
lot. Yeah, it's about 100,000. Depending if you have a full head of hair or whatever. But about
it. And
a
it
hundred
grows your
thousand.
eyebrows and your eyelashes, maybe?
I'm sorry.
It grows your eyebrows and your eyelashes, maybe?
Yeah, so we have a lot of our customers that are claiming that their eyebrows are much thicker by using it because if you look at lasers, the way lasers work is kind of like it's like a brand new sponge you get from your grocery store, and then you put it underneath your sink, and the water coming from your faucet goes on your sponge, and the first thing it does, because it's a brand new sponge, the water will reflect, it'll go off of the sponge. Then the second thing it does, it gets absorbed by the sponge.
Wow.
And then the third thing the water does, it gets in the sponge, it starts scattering, right?
Okay,
And
right.
then the fourth thing the water does in a sponge is that at the other end of the sponge, it'll start transmitting. That means the water will start going through it. It's just kind of bubbling on the other side of the sponge. And that's the same thing that happens. So it turns from a area to a volume. So that's the way laser light does. Once it hits the tissue, the human tissue, it starts spreading out. So as it spreads out, it goes all the way in your eyebrows as well.
Wow, that's good because there's a lot of women like myself that used to pluck their eyebrows out, and it was stupid. You know, I couldn't believe and my mom went, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So that makes you feel good. And I've talked to a lot of women who have lost their hair for different reasons, and they can't wait to try this because honestly, they need it because it really gives you self-confidence. I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, I'll tell you, years ago, I wore different wigs and just little
Mhm.
pieces of hair, and then you put all this junk on, and it doesn't help.
No.
And it's hot.
Yes, and wigs, unfortunately, you do need a base for the wig. You can't have a slick scalp. You do need. So we have a lot of people that wear wigs that wear a device. So when they wear the protection before they wear the wig, it remains on the scalp.
Right. And that's the important thing, I think. And so, anyhow, tell me, is there another invention coming out that you're doing?
Well, lasers, if you read my book, there's the Grow Back book on chapter 18. The last chapter, I talk about all the applications for lasers. One of them that we just got done doing was with Harvard. We took 47 patients. We're using the helmet, but with a different kind of laser. And this is going to be used for dementia and traumatic brain injury.
Oh, wow. That's
So
unreal.
yeah, so we were able to show after several about 6 months that if you wear the helmet with the lasers at a different wavelength, not the one for hair, but another version of it, that you will get much better response from dementia and TBI. The reason why is that you can't really ask the person that has dementia how well they're doing because they're not usually
Oh, right.
communicative. But every patient, all 47 patients was able to report that all their dementia patients and all their TBI patients was able to, like, for example, eat better, tie their shoelaces, talk about certain memories, and all of their caretakers reported vast improvement. So if you can put the helmet on every day for several years, you can. I can see that it could be very good for those kind of patients.
What
We were
about Parkinson's?
Parkinson's is the same kind of type of deal. So with Parkinson's, there's a specific area right at C5 and C6 and
Mhm.
C4 of the cervical that you can apply a specific wavelength and a specific kind of laser on there directly. So it wouldn't be a helmet type of device that I talk about. This is actually applying energy on a Parkinson's patient, and the trembling stops, and they start reversing the effects of Parkinson's.
Yeah, because I do a lot with Parkinson's.
Oh, you do? Yeah. So definitely, there was actually a very good conference on this. I was asked to be speaking at that, but I definitely think that Parkinson's is a very specific area where there's problem, which is right in the back. If you can apply laser light on that area, you can reverse the effects of Parkinson's. It's been done by many, many people so far.
That's great.
I haven't done it, myself, but definitely there's a lot of physicians out there talking about how to do this.
That would be great because there's a lot of people that I know that have Parkinson's. And my
Yeah,
uncle, unfortunately, who was a physician, ended up with Parkinson's and eventually died.
yeah.
And
And the earlier you can get it, the better. Just like any disease, if you're starting to have hair loss, get especially a laser phototherapy device right away. Or if you're getting any kind of type of Parkinson's effect, get laser phototherapy. It will help you.
that's great. Well, that's exciting what you've got to say because it really helps a lot of people. I want to have you on again because you're so exciting to have as a guest.
Thank you.
I mean that seriously. I want to thank you so much for joining me, Tamim. And I love what you're doing for mankind.
Oh,
I mean
thank
that.
you.
And
Thank you.
God gave you that wonderful, inventive spirit and passion, and you're spreading it around the world. And thank you for your service for doing this, because it's made a major difference in so many lives. And your website, please?
Okay, well, my website is www.growitback.com. But thank you very much for those kind words. And that's 99% why I do what I do, is to get
Yeah, you
people.
love it.
I love it. I love what it does for people.
That's right. And I love doing what I do because I spread that love.
Yeah.
Right?
We're a good match.
Thank you so much for joining me. And